Hello, my name is Rick Green, and I'm the editor of the Meadville Tribune, and with me is reporter Mike Crowley. We'd like to thank you for joining us for one of our Meet the Candidate sessions. Today we're with Jaime Kinder, who is running for Meadville Mayor. First, we'll turn it over to Ms. Kinder for an introduction or opening statement.
My name is Jaime Kinder. I am the mayor of Meadville, and I am running for re-election because we've got work to do, right? I'm born and raised here, and so was my mother. I raised my children here, and I believe Meadville can work for everybody, but we still have some work to do, although we've done so very many things in the last 4 years.
All right, well, first question kind of follows up on that. You've had a good seat for what happened over the past 4 years. How would you evaluate City Council's performance over that time?
I think that City Council has shifted its values into from, whatever it was, because I wasn't there, right, to a City Council that's working for the people who live in Meadville, right? We've shifted from hoping somebody comes in to Meadville and saves us and hoping we can bring new people in to working for the people who live in Meadville, making it a great place to live, work, and have recreation, and that way, word of mouth, right? Then new people come in. We have more celebrations. We have more things that people can do that they don't need money for, right? Almost every weekend, second Saturdays. We've got first Fridays, right? We have more partnerships and coalitions than we've ever had. We've brought more money in grants. We balanced a budget without having to tax people. We have brought essential services and made them public, and we have given pensions back. So we work for, we support our workers and the people who work in Meadville, right? So I think that the vision of Meadville is working for the people who live here and valuing the people who live and work here every single day.
So building on that, assuming you get reelected, what do you want to see accomplished in the next 4 years?
I want to keep going with all of the things that I just said, right? I want to make sure that, life can get just a little bit easier for people, and right now it is not easy, right? I want all of the places that are hiring here, that their employees, right, if they're bringing new people in, that they have housing options, that the people who live here have housing options, right? I want to make sure that if people want to own a home, they can, and they can afford it. If they want to rent a home, there are options for them, and they can afford it, and it is safe. I want to make sure that that we have the jobs that pay, right? And we are supporting our small businesses because our downtown is phenomenal, right? Our MCRC got established in the last couple of years, and now we have an entity that is its job is to always think about our downtown and the success of the small businesses in it, right? Along with the Chamber and the Independent Business Alliance. And we have the Beehive, right? Which is a group of schools that are helping small businesses. So I think all of that also, right? We need that help. We need to make sure that our small businesses are thriving, so our downtown thrives, so that people see the culture here and that there are options to live and work, right? I want to build on what we're doing and, right, make sure that people understand what a wonderful place it is here, right? People who live here deserve the best, and that's what we're working towards.
Now, you touched on some of this in your previous response, but just to follow up, can you outline some specific strategies that you want to pursue to attract and retain businesses in Meadville, and also support the local entrepreneurs who are already here?
Sure. Again, there is an MCRC, right? I sat on the board to establish that MCRC along with community stakeholders, right? From Accu-Tech to the college to the Meadville Medical Center, right? We're all very interested in making sure that business in Meadville thrives, right? In a way that is not so hard. Small business is the backbone of any community, right? We need a downtown that people want to go to. We want a downtown that the people who live here, they can get everything they need downtown. When I was growing up here, we didn't have a car. I had never eaten across the bridge out across the bridge until after I was in 9th grade, right? Like, so everything that we needed had to come within walking distance, right? We can get there again, or at least mostly, right? We've got great business owners. We've got a great downtown, and it can be better if we support it in the way that helps small businesses grow, right? So the MCRC, again, is the entity that is going to be thinking about how to get businesses in, how to support businesses that are here, how to make sure that our storefronts are all taken up, right? And essentially even doing exit interviews with businesses that leave, right? We want to know why you came and why you're going, right? So that we can be the best town for small businesses. So I think that we'll keep working towards that, right? But we also have the Beehive, and we have the Gannon SBA, right? That is working really hard to help people do business plans, right? That's free. And we have Hatch Hollow, which is a co-working space. You don't even have to have your own office and pay for a brick and mortar if you are, a different type of business, insurance, if you are a consultant, right? You can work out of there. That is a place that many people go in. It is got a small cafe, right? It is a small business from an Allegheny student that just graduated, right? Like, so we are doing the thing, right? We are making it easy for people, but we want to make sure that everybody has all of the information, because it's easy when you're downtown every day to know what's going on, right? But what if you're only downtown occasionally and you don't know about Hatch Hollow, or you don't eat at this place or that place, right? How do we get the information to you? So there's a lot of steps in that. Also, the chamber is doing some really cool classes with Gary Spetz, right? He teaches some business classes, and I know some people who went through it and really learned a lot, right? So I think we have all of the elements. It is now bringing them together and make sure everybody that wants to own a business or start a business or be in business in our town understands all of that, right? Mm-hmm. And has that information at their fingertips. So when they're ready, they can. I have a friend that's doing cooking on Thursdays at the market house, right? Like, we have an incubator for people who want to try, right? Or people who need to create more income for themselves, right? Like, that's exciting, right? It's exciting to be able to have an opportunity at a rate that you can afford and be able to make more money, do you know what I mean? And support yourself and your children, right? So the opportunities are here. It is to get them out and let people know that they can do it and they are supported here. So they are brave enough to do it, because it's scary, right? To step out into something like that. So I think just coming together as a community, working with what we have and what we know and getting the information out is what will bring businesses in, keep them going, and keep them supported when they're having hard times.
Sticking with the downtown theme, residents and business owners have often talked about parking.
Sure.
Either they want it cheaper or they need more parking. How do you feel about downtown parking as it stands right now? And should there be more spaces available, cheaper spaces available, in your opinion?
I think that Meadville is a really great place. I think that we sell ourselves short thinking that that parking is the issue, right? Sometimes I think that maybe walking is the issue, right? We've got lots of parking at the Diamond, right? And if you can walk from the Diamond down, and the reason I say that is because we want you to walk. I want Mike to walk from the Diamond down to Lower Chestnut, because then he walks past every single business that's in town, right? I would rather people walk just a little ways, those who can, right? And it seems expensive here, right? Because if you're here and you only know here, right, you may think, oh no, a quarter, a half hour is very expensive, or 50 cents a day, right? Like, but the second you go to Pittsburgh, the second you go to Erie, you're very thankful about Meadville, right? and so frankly, if people are having a hard time parking, I want to know, and I want to listen to that, because I have lots of suggestions, right? And a lot of it has to do with us not marketing the places that you can have for free, right? After 6, all of the parking is free in Meadville. There's not one space that's not free, right? Even though it has a reserved sign, that is still free parking. And you can park there after 6 and during the weekends. So there's lots of parking during the weekends. It is the knowledge of where that parking is, I think, sometimes has people wondering. And also, right, we want to make sure that the parking outside, out front of businesses is for the people who can't walk, right? And can't walk from the Diamond and can't walk right down the street. But everybody else, I want them walking past every one of our storefronts because I want them to notice those storefronts. I want them to see what cool things we have, because many a times it'll bring me in a store if I see something in the window, right? So, parking for everyone in every town seems to be, a complaint sometimes. But I know that Meadville is a destination. I know that the businesses that are here, I think, sometimes sell themselves short. And I know that there's enough parking. It is the knowledge of the parking that I think we're doing a terrible job. So we are looking at putting signs up, right? Making sure that on our website that there's parking marked, right? So people understand when and how they can park and when it's free. So yeah, I think that Meadville is a destination. I think that when people talk about parking, they're talking about, on Chestnut Street, the small amount of parking that's on Chestnut Street. But there's parking behind buildings, especially after a certain time, and parking is free all weekend. So I think it's less of an issue, but I think that if people believe that there are solutions, I want to know, right? Like if you believe that your business is struggling because there's 3 spots out on Chestnut Street, let's talk about it, right? And let's see if there's anything we can do.
All right, turning to the issue of housing, I'm sure you're aware Meadville faces challenges as far as affordable and quality housing. What steps do you want to see over the next few years to continue to address this issue?
Well, we did a rental inspection program, and that is to create, make sure that all the housing is safe, right? But let's be clear. Meadville is not unique in that situation, right? There's a housing crisis across this country. Affordability, safety, and options. Like I said before, it is very hard for people to buy homes. I'm sure you guys know that this year, although it started, I think in they said 2002, but it used to be that first-time home buyers outnumbered and outpaced corporate buyers for homes. That is not the truth anymore. I think it is 22% new homeowners and 30% corporate homeowners, or to buy as investments and to buy as rental properties. So this is an issue that is a national issue. It's a state issue. But in Meadville, we are doing our best. We are starting to look at building homes, through partnerships and coalitions. We have a housing plan that we're trying really, really hard to work through, which just gets more difficult when some funding has been cut or stopped through the federal government. So we are looking at new ways to do that, right? And that encompasses first-time home buyers and home buyers getting ownership up in Meadville. 70% of the Meadville rents here, and we'd like to see way more home buyers. That's opposite of the state average. I think it's 60% and 40%, 60% being homeowners and 40% being renters. But in Meadville, right, that's opposite. So we've got work to do, right? We need to make sure there are options, and I think all of that is in our housing plan. But like most municipalities, it's not like we can just throw money at it, right? Like Meadville's not a place that can do that. So that has everything to do with our partnerships and our coalitions and our anchor institutions and the help and ideas that we can get from the public. So
the council set the goal last year of 50 new affordable housing units by 2028 as part of the housing plan. Mm-hmm. So with potential shortfalls or freezing of monies? How do you go about making sure that goal is set? Or does it need to be adjusted one way or the other? What do you do next?
Well, we do our best is what we do next, right? We do our best to reach those goals. We don't know what's happening outside of Meadville, right? We are here trying to do the work within Meadville in a community that doesn't have a lot of money, right? Like that has really truly been working on volunteer hours and just hard work, right? So I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to do our best to reach those goals. If we have to readjust them, we'll readjust. If we have to adapt, we will do that because that's what Meadville does best, right? We readjust and we adapt to the situation at hand, and we will make good on or make the situation the best we can, right? And we'll make good on that. It just may be pushed back, but at this point, I don't know if it's going to need to be pushed back. I know that we're fighting, right? I know that I've met with the appropriations committee in the state asking for money for housing and to keep going on the work that we have been doing in our housing plan. But that doesn't work either when there's no state budget. So needless to say, we're going to do our best with what we have and put the people here in Meadville first. And if it needs to be adjusted and if we need to adapt, we will do that because we're good at that.
Okay.
A moment ago, you mentioned the idea of partnerships with the important anchor institutions in the city of Meadville. Many of the most important such institutions are nonprofits, and there's Crawford County as well, Allegheny College on the nonprofit side, Meadville Medical Center. How do you plan to work on strengthening those kinds of community partnerships and address some of the challenges that everybody shares?
So we're in constant communication, right? Like with our nonprofits and our anchor institutions, we are working towards a shared goal. Nobody wins if Meadville doesn't thrive. Nobody, right? Like no hospital in Meadville, no nursing home, no college in Meadville works if Meadville doesn't thrive. So we have a shared vision. Yes, we all have agendas. The college's goal is college first, Meadville second, maybe, right? But everyone knows that if Meadville doesn't survive, then none of them will survive, right? We have to be a good community for parents to let kids come here, right? We need to be a wonderful community for the hospital to work. Hospitals are shutting down now. We have to be a thriving community in order for Meadville Medical Center to work, right? So I think that it is us being in constant communication. We are currently working with community leaders to create a plan for Meadville with some great ideas to take to the governor to try to get some more funding in, right? And that's with Ron Cole, and that is with Accutech, and that is with Common Roots, and that is, right, like all of us working together in one room to talk about housing and the different things that we need in this town to make it work. Because it's essential for Meadville to work and keep moving forward, right, for the people who live here. And we want new workers to come in here. And we want them to live here, right? I don't want Meadville Medical Center workers to live in Erie or in Edinburgh. I want them in Meadville. I want them here, being in relationship with the people that live here. Because, again, we are good people, and this is a good place. So I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what we're doing. We're just making sure we're sticking together on this thing.
One of the issues that tends to come up to kind of follow up on that question has to do with nonprofits and whether they're paying their fair share.
Sure.
And they do contribute payments in lieu of taxes. Is that something that needs to be revisited, or are they in fact paying their fair share, or is there more that can be done on that front?
Loaded question there, Mike. Well, right, like... First, let's be very clear. This is a state law, right? Like they don't have to pay anything. It is not in anybody's best interest to not pay anything, but they don't have to, right? That's what the state says. We don't control that, but what we do control are our relationships. And when I came into office, I just was very frank, right? When I came into office, our budget was bleak, right? If you guys remember, at this same table, we had this conversation about the budget and what my ideas were for the budget, right? And having ARPO dry up, and it was kind of a bananas question, and I said, I'm not sure, but we're gonna bring in ideas and we're gonna work on it. We are well past that now, right? Like, we have balanced the budget and we have done this thing, and in the meantime, I've had meetings with like Allegheny College, and I told them what I was looking for. I want a third. I want a third of what nonprofits owe, right? If we had a third, we'd never have to, or at least right this very second, or 4 years ago, we wouldn't have to worry about a budget. And to be clear, they are working up to that. We're getting more now than we did then, right? Although when I said how much I wanted, the room gasped. They were like, I don't think anybody has ever said, right? Like, I want this much money a year. This is how much, right? Like, as a third. But it wasn't crazy. Nobody can do what you need them to do unless they know what you need them to do, right? And I think it's to be honest, it's a great start, right? Like, so Allegheny, for instance, is upping their pilot all the time, right? They're almost double what they were 4 years ago, right? And that to me is right. That to me shows that they are really working towards what Meadville wants. It's hard for those anchor institutions to just give money. You know, a lot of times they want to do cool things, right? And they still do all of that. Do you know how many students are out in our community? You know how many things that Meadville Medical Center does for our community, plus they pay, right? Like, so when asked, though, I was asked, do you want us to give money towards this thing or up our pilot? And I was very clear. I said, I know this is awesome and I want you to do this cool thing, right? But I need you to up the pilot. And I need you to do that because it's really hard for me to tell people who are struggling to pay taxes, right? That you guys are partnering and doing this cool thing if you're not also paying your, a pilot or paying, because all they can see is this, right? So, all of our anchor institutions, they are paying a pilot and they're partnering and they're still doing the cool thing, right? And I think Allegheny is helping the fire department, and Meadville Medical Center does so many things, plus our, working on needs assessments and making sure Meadville is safe and we are taken care of. I'd love to have 100%, right? But unfortunately that is not in our hands. And what we do have are willing participants, and they are paying pilots, and they are also giving more, right? They're doing more, and they're partnering with all of the other institutions to create a better Meadville.
Switching gears a little bit, what's your approach to ensure that Meadville remains, safe, welcoming community, while also fostering the trust between residents and the law enforcement?
Sure. So I think that, number one, we are safe. I don't think that is an issue. If you don't believe me, I walk everywhere. You'll see me any given day walking alone, whether it's nighttime or daytime, right? And I do that not only because I like to walk, and I totally need to, but because I want people to understand that we are safe, right? If I'm asking students from Allegheny College to walk, then I'm going to do it, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm saying we're safe, then I need to be able to show that I believe that is true, right? But also, right, with our police, I think that what you can see and what you have seen, yes, I'm assuming you're alluding to an incident that we had, which was unfortunate. But what you have also seen is that our police station hasn't shied away from public events. Our police chief has been in events where the public can ask him questions in public. Do you know what I mean? Where other police shy away when there's an incident that hurts the trust of the community. Our police have not done that, right? We didn't shy away from our National Day Out, I think it was called. Sorry, I'm blanking. And we had pizza with police. Our police chief has not shied away from any single person that has asked to have interviews or have questions or meet with him. And I think that that's a real show of confidence and a show of him wanting our police to be open and honest with whatever situations we have and to foster the trust of the community. I mean, I don't know what else to say except to be available and open and be able to be in coalition and, relationship with the public.
And presumably you're happy with how the viral video incident you referred to, how that was handled and the outcome and everything?
What I am is understanding is that's the way it is, right? Like I don't have, I watched the video, right? I looked at everything. I don't have the ability to or the power, right? But what I do have is trust in Mike. I have trust in Marianne. And I believe that we're not at a point where we can move forward. We've got clear ideas as to make Meadville better, right? And how to work through a drug epidemic, right? Like that people don't even know because our police are doing a good job, right? They don't understand what's happening here. An epidemic that is across the country. Again, it's not just Meadville, right? Like but that people don't see, and they believe that this was one incident. There were 3 incidences in a week. We had people in our holding cells by noon on Monday. They were all full, right? Like these police are doing a lot of work with a lot of hours, and we don't see it because they're doing good work, right? So no, that incident was unfortunate. I hated it. I hated the video. I hated the idea of it. I hated everything about it. But what I know I can do is work through it. We are going to work past it, and we are going to gain the trust of the community again. We are going to make sure that Meadville is safe, right? And we're just going to do our best every single day, right? While keeping Meadville the safest place that we can. And that's their job.
Okay. Pause it.
I got lots of words.
Okay.
Okay, City of Meadville and Crawford County. What's your position on the city's lawsuit against the county to force reassessment, and what is it that you hope comes out of any eventual reassessment that occurs?
Well, I think everybody knows my opinion, right? Like, I voted for it. I think we should be suing, right? We all have to do our job, and it's the job of the county to reassess. I mean, it just is. I don't think there's an excuse for being so far from reality when it comes to reassessment, and just do it, right? Like just do it, and I do not think that it's going to do anything except be more fair, right? Some people's will go up, some people's will go down, some people's will stay the same. I dig that. I understand that. The thing is let's work through fairness, right? Let's make sure what we're doing is fair to everyone, and move on. I just don't see the big deal in it, right? Just do your job. And reassessment is the county's job. And if we've got to sue for them to do their job, it, again, is unfortunate, but we got to do what we have to.
I think you've heard from county officials
Sure.
that the big deal is $5, $6, $7, $8, $9 million
Sure.
to do that. Money that they say they don't have. How does that factor in?
It doesn't. I mean, I don't mean to be right, but it's not that we didn't know that this was our job, right? And it's not just these county commissioners. By all means, now they're stuck with a thing. Believe me, I understand. Right? You get stuck with a thing that you didn't have anything, any issue, right? You didn't make the problem, but now you have to fix it. I totally dig that, right? But it doesn't negate that is the responsibility, and it has to be done, right? It has to be done. We are, it's kind of embarrassing that it hasn't been, right? Again, I'm not, I know they have to fix a thing that they didn't break, but you still have to do it. You figure it out, and you do what you have to do for fairness. And we have titles. We are elected to serve the people, and that's what I expect, right? So $9 million. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where they're going to get it, but they got to get it. But it just.
Okay, I think those cover the questions that we have. We'll let you finish with a closing statement or talk about an issue that you'd like to talk about that maybe we didn't raise.
I'm not sure there is much of an issue. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that, right, we have a shared vision here, and it is that Meadville works for the people who live here, right? We need to make sure that everybody feels safe, everybody feels like they belong, and that everybody feels like we are working for them, right? That's a hard thing to do, right? It's especially in the political climate that we are constantly inundated with, right? And right, we are now faced with it's kept me up long nights. We're faced with people getting ready to be hungry in Meadville, people that we're neighbors with, right? Not this weird other, right? These are human beings that work, that have babies. So there's a big picture here. There are people who don't know where they're going to sleep at night. There are people who don't know how they're going to get a next meal, right? We need to put life in perspective, and we need to understand that the people who live here are worth fighting for, and that we need to take care of our neighbors. It is our job to take care of our neighbors. So let's think about our neighbors. Let's give when we can give. Let's be compassionate. Again, the best thing that Meadville does is come together and we support each other. I know I've been saying that for a long time, and I know there are some people who don't believe it, but I do believe this is the best place on the planet. I do believe we have the best people, and I do believe we take care of each other and care about each other. No matter what anybody says, I've seen it. I saw it today, walking up the street with everybody trying to get food for the Center for Family Services because of food stamps being cut. I saw it when all of those people got their food stamps taken, right? That fraud that happened, and so many people went without, and the FOP and FCCA, right? They came together and they fed people. They fed people for a month, right? Like not a day, not a week, but a month. So Meadville is a good place. Meadville is doing good, right? Our police got their pensions back. Meadville is doing good, right? We have a public ambulance service. Meadville is doing good. We are also balancing budget while creating new programs. Meadville is doing good, right? No matter what anybody says, Meadville is doing good, and we are going to do better and better every single day. So I just want everybody to understand that. I know I'm like preaching to you guys, and I know you guys understand, but I believe in this place. I love this place. My mama was here, right? Meadville is doing good, and we are going to keep doing good. So.
All right. I'd like to thank Jaime Kinder for joining us today. She's running for re-election for Meadville Mayor. And for our viewers out there, I remind you to vote on November 4th. You can watch all our interviews on our website, meadvilletribune.com, or on our YouTube channel at Meadville Tribune Media. Thank you.